Okay, people, so now it is June 7th, I'm sure. Saturday. 2020. Going into the third day, I'm trying to get ready to go outside. I'm debating. It's a toss-up. Well, it's a toss-up everywhere in this yard. It's like juggling. Alright. I think I'm going to go out to the back a little bit. Because basically what I'm trying to do here, people, is get plants in the ground. Just got to get them in the ground. Some of them are just ready to get into the ground. And it's been so cold. So things are going to be stunted. I have a feeling like even the plum trees didn't come in much with plums again. This is 2 years in a row now. It's almost like I have to take what is it called? Burlap. And just cover the whole tree. Right? So that the buds don't freeze. And we actually have a cherry tree that did produce cherries, but some kind of a moth in a larva stage got into the leaves and ate the cherries. But Andre and I, we discovered that we actually have a cherry tree. Because when we moved in, these trees were here, but when this guy bought this house over here, he ended up cutting down all the trees. He cut them all down, right? And it didn't take long for the plum tree to grow back and start growing plums. But this cherry tree, which I didn't know was a cherry tree, but it's mature enough now that it's actually producing cherries. But, you know, I have to get a different kind of ladder. I gotta chop those things. You're really supposed to burn them, you know, to get rid of them when they're in the larva stage versus letting them fucking eat everything. And, you know, anyway, that's a whole nother ball of wax. The point is we do have a cherry tree. Maybe next year I'll have it together. I'll get it figured out, right? You know, for the last couple of years I've been debating whether I should be, like, covering up this plum tree in order to save the blossoms just so that they don't freeze because it's been so fucking cold and it's getting colder. Like, it's been, like, fairly cold outside, right? In terms of for vegetation to grow. You know? They grow from the sun and the heat. If it's cold, they get stunted. Last year, my landlady noticed it too with her garden. All right? So anyway, I'm debating whether I should go next door because, like, I'm kind of like... Because you have to remember, people, I work with this, and I'm not looking for sympathy. I'm just stating a fact. I'm almost 60 years old, and I have health issues. The only thing is I'm too busy to be thinking about them too much, because sooner or later, one day, it's going to be poof, and I'm going to be gone, and nothing will move except me. I accept that. So in the meantime, you know, I take basically one day at a time. And, you know, I try and keep up with, I guess you could say, my commitments, my, you know, things that are expected of me, whatever they are. I mean, it's not expected of me to go next door and do whatever I'm going to do over there, because it's completely out of control. You've seen that with my last video. And it's getting worse and worse, because ever since I moved in, like when the Koreans owned the house, they didn't weed. They didn't care about morning glory. They ate that marrow plant. So the more that it grew and spread out, the happier that they were, right? They didn't care about buttercups and none of that. You know, they harvested what they wanted among their weeds, and then they left the weeds. And the weeds just multiplied. And then after they sold their house and it turned into the shack for 1.5 years, those people, they didn't garden in the least bit. I mean, yeah, they got out there and cut the grass once in a while, but that was it. That's all they did. So again, those weeds just multiplied, and that marrow and the morning glory just spread out. You know, last year, I guess it was, what was it, last year? Or, yeah, I think it was last year, I tried to plant something. I planted some potatoes, and potatoes got a few potatoes out of it, but the dirt over there, something wrong with it. it needs to be enriched because, or it didn't get enough water, or both. I'm thinking both because it's a dirt I'm not familiar with. Like it's I don't know what it is. Not the whole thing, but certain areas of it. So some things just didn't grow, right, for whatever reason. And of course, you know, I couldn't do the whole yard in terms of weeds, so that just multiplied, right? So I have to do a little something along the fence. Now, it's not quite noon yet, but by noon I'll be outside. I don't want to go outside. My eyes are bugging me. You know, I get dizzy when I'm working outside, but I just bypass it because of the light spectrums. You know, I'm working in bright light oftentimes, right, with the sun blaring. I'm wearing dollar store glasses. You know, I'm lifting heavy shit, you know, or dragging or whatever. I mean, you can see what I've been doing, right? And placing up those boards, and, you know, I'm teetering and I'm going like this. And, I mean, the one good thing about it is it builds muscle for Amari, right? You know, it keeps me in shape that way, and it clears out my lungs, right? That's why I'm, you know, right? It makes, but so does talking fast and talking loud, right? Your lungs, you know, you use your lungs a lot for that, right? So, anyway, but this pressure and this ringing in my ears, oh my God. Oh my God. That's what that will kill me. This, whatever's going on in here. One day, it'll be just too much. Well, what can you do? Sometimes I feel like I have a chip in my mouth with my, what is it called? 2 root canals. I feel like this is what I just, because it doesn't make sense to have all this pressure and ringing in my ears, right? And I know for a fact that energy weapons have gone through my yard, so I wouldn't be surprised if I haven't been zapped with them, and I just didn't fucking notice because I was too busy doing something. And I hurt myself thinking, oh, it was me, when in fact it was an energy weapon that actually went through my body versus around my body. You know, and somehow it's affecting me. Or I'm being zapped with a, you know, a little something that's, you know, putting all this pressure in my head. But what am I going to do, people, if I don't go out there and fucking continue doing what I'm doing? You know, I'm just a sitting duck for the city, right? And then my landlord sells the house and makes her $1 million profit, and God forbid, I don't know where I'll end up, because there's housing that's being built, that the new Democrat Party was successful at keeping those jobs available. They kept those jobs available for all the construction workers and anything related to construction. They're all working, but it's not for the housing for the people that were born in this, basically in this country. It's for housing for other people coming in. For the large majority, 75–80% of the housing will be for somebody else before it will be for a Canadian, regardless of their ethnic heritage. Right? This one over here is for the old folks as they're being flushed out of their houses. And then they'll move in there, and then they'll take 10% like they did with an Uncle John to keep that system going. In terms of laundering money and stealing money and building wealth off the backs of other people's misery. So in the meantime, I think I'm going to go into the back and I'm going to show you my trees. Right? Because they're so beautiful. They're growing, right? It's just, I really should be, instead of spending my time next door, I should be in the back all day today. And continue, right? But I'm too tired to bring out the skill saw today. I've done 2 days in the yard. The last thing I want to do is bring out a skill saw. I should have a 2-day rest and then go out with the skill saw. Because that, you really have to pay attention, right? You can't, because it jumps, eh? So if it jumps, you got to make sure you got a hold of it so it doesn't veer off and cut your leg off or something stupid, right? And cut the cord or whatever, right? hold on a minute. So anyway, I was babbling on about something, but yeah, these people next door, and then when these other guys, young men, moved in, they don't want to do nothing with the yard. I seen the landlord out there, the owner, trying to teach one of them, or two maybe, how to mow the grass. But, see, if I had access to an electrical outlet there, I would encourage Andre to mow a little bit because it's good for him, right? It's good for him to learn that skill. Once I get a handle on my own yard, you know, I already told him I'm thinking to buy a gas lawnmower, and we'll see if we can, you know, create a little business, because I want to create more than one business for Andre. I want him to have his little landscaping business. Thank you. I want him to have his little Andre the Walnut Arts, you know, Andre's Walnut Art online business. I've got lots of ideas around that one. Lots of material, people. I just don't have time to piece everything together and then, you know, and try and, right, as I'm going blind with all this pressure in my head. But besides that point, we got to take care of the imagery in the neighborhood first. So, in terms of what is on the outside, it's not a matter of what's on the inside, it's on what's on the outside. As long as the property looks like it's worth $5.2 million, and that's what's important when it comes from a city's perspective, right? Or you know, property development and all that. Well, not property development, because they don't care how many hours I put into this property that I live on. Never mind maybe what I might be doing next door, right? Because at the end of the day, it's all going to get bulldozed down, and those big-ass fucking cement trucks that are running back and forth between the front and the back at the same time for 2-3 hours straight with them grinding their shit, man. I was out there 2 days ago with Amari. It was funny, though. He didn't care. He didn't care that these big-ass cement trucks were parked outside, two of them, right in front of my fucking house as they were grinding their shit. I was working, that's when I was working with the grapes, right? And they were loud, people. That was so loud. And then they were driving, you know, one would go, right? And then it would come around, and then it would go up through the alley, and then this one would move, and another one would come. And this went on for like 2 fucking hours. And for the whole time that we were out there, Amari not even once fussed. As a matter of fact, he liked it. He was laughing and squealing, and he thought it was great. Me, I just worked around it, people, with my pressure in my head and the ringing in my ears, right? You know, and what the fuck am I supposed to do? This is, you know, British Columbia, Canada, and it's booming in the construction industry, right? Okay? But bring him inside and turn on the vacuum cleaner, and he starts crying at the top of his lungs. So, I don't know what it is with trucks, but Amari seems to like noises from trucks. So, you know, I don't know how that came into the fray of, you know, starting businesses for Andre. But once I get a handle on things, you know, I want him to take the skills that he's been learning from me all these years and apply it as an outside source to create work for himself. And then, you know, I'll tell him, like, you know, you can cut grass and, right, you know, start a little business, but, you know, well, I don't want to grow up and just, you know, cut grass, Nana. No. He wanted to be a chef. But the NDP, they took care of that problem, didn't they? Yeah, they wiped out tens of thousands of chefs in the blink of a fucking signature under a false flag emergency, right? Put them into dire fucking poverty in an instant. And that's what I tell them, like, you know, Andre, you have to have more than one job skill, right? Right? You can still be a chef. If that's what you want to be, you can still be that. I discourage him from being a cop. I mean, for years he wanted to go on about being a cop. And I tell him straight up, people. I tell him there's not enough good cops in the force for him to be a cop and then have to stand there and fight the force. Not to mention crime in the community. Right? it's too burdensome. It's not, you know, he's already had enough stress in his life. He doesn't need to become a cop to fight fucking cops in order to hold his own integrity. So his next choice was being a chef. But the New Democratic Party, the NDP, have taught us that there is no job security with being a chef, unless, of course, you're operating like a fucking robot with your mask on over a hot stove 6 feet away from your co-workers. As you've got the watchful eye gonna storm the premises at any time to make sure that you're following the rules under WorkSafe BC. But that doesn't sound like it's very good quality of living, right? You know, in terms of, I want to be a chef. This is the psychological warfare that, when I refer to psychological warfare, I can only imagine what people are going through, because as I listen to these debates, well, sorry, they're not debates. We don't have debates. We don't have democracy in fucking British Columbia, Canada anymore. What we have is a dictatorship that gets up on a freaking mic and says, da-dee-dee-da, and then when a news organization will state and ask a question in terms of, well, we've got restaurant businesses opening up their businesses under these supposed guidelines that are being pushed out by WorkSafe BC and wherever else they're coming in from. But yet the businesses themselves are finding that the customers aren't going in. So even though they made that initial extra investment after they took a huge loss, they're just going deeper and deeper and deeper into debt as the people themselves. Like, I can tell you right now, people, if I don't go to restaurants very often, but if I was to go to a restaurant and they wanted to take my name, no phone number, blood type, and all this other shit, right? You know, fucking driver's license number, you know, my care card number, you know, so they can come back and track me from being in their restaurant, I'm not going in. I don't care how good the food is. I am not going in. Now, I know my son goes out shopping, right? And some places he goes, they've been forcing him to wear a mask. So obviously, you're coming in through the door, they're handing you the mask before you can shop in that store. Well, me, I'll walk away. I will walk away before I put on a fucking mask. Okay? Because for all I know, that mask could have been contaminated with the so-called coronavirus as you give it to me. Because that's the kind of society that we live in. Because right now, myself, I'm under the impression that, and only because I have the documentation, people, only because I walk the walk, right, in terms of I have been a part of energy weapons. I've had them go through my house. It's documented on YouTube. I've had them go through my fucking yard. It's documented on YouTube. So for people to sit up there and say that the government isn't using energy weapons on the general population without us knowing it is a flat out fucking farce. Can't call it a lie because they don't know, but it's a farce because I know that it's happening. And now with this political agenda with 5G and all this other shit going on, big money, Bill Gates and all his, you know, connections in terms of promoting vaccines and all this crap. And with my family being targeted through the various ministries within the public union sector government as a whole, right? They're targeting certain individuals through this 6 feet social distancing with the energy weapons, and because it's faster than the eye, you can't see it. That's a camera can catch it, but you can't catch it. Right, because of the light spectrums and just how our brains operate with seeing things. They are through the bodies, and then they want to come back and fucking test you. They don't want to test you for coronavirus, okay, with their false positives with their no guarantees, with their ambiguous fucking sales pitch. Sales, they're selling you something through their ambiguity, right? If they're not doing it through threats, right? Or through fear, right? There's no real concrete fucking science in there because they're hiding something. But they need to test you. So what's the best way of testing you? They want to test if your temperature has gone up fucking right. You get radiated enough times, you're going to get sick. That's what radiation does. It brings on flu-like fucking symptoms. I told you I went through it with Fukushima radiation when the rains came over and dumped radiation in Vancouver and Surrey as our government people turned off the radiation fucking detectors within the province to hide that information so that BC, British Columbians, wouldn't uprise and go after Japan. It was all political. But at the end of the day, people got sick. My whole family got irradiated. So if you're sitting in a classroom 6 feet apart with their fucking cameras and Wi-Fi and all this other shit that's going on behind closed bloody doors, it's like a two mirrored glass, right? Where you look, you see yourself, but on the other side, they look, they can see you. They're targeting certain kids. I can't prove it, but I can feel it. I feel it, people. I can feel it because I know what they've been doing to my family. I know what they've been doing in my fucking yard and inside my house. We've got it going over Julian's fucking shoulder. Okay? I don't need 1,000 of those to document that it's going through my house. I only need the one. It's as plain as day. You can't avoid it. It's the same thing that was outside. Right? You don't think they're not doing that through the fucking schools with these kids 6 feet apart? Oh, for sure. And then run up and test them the next day to see if their fucking blood was boiling and if their temperatures went up so that they could scoop them off and fucking isolate them and do more tests on them based on something that you were misled about and not even informed about in terms of your kids are under attack through fucking government fucking science experiments that the Queen of England endorses because for her it is in the betterment of society. There is a clause somewhere along the way, somewhere deep down, I don't know where the hell it is, but it says that the Queen of England over a monarchy of Canada can okay science experiments among the general population if it is for the benefit of society as a whole when it relates to the monarch in England. Okay? That's the authority that she has over Canada. And it's happened in the past and it's still happening. Okay? I don't even know where I'm going with this. I'm avoiding going outside. That's what it is. Because once I get out there, I just turn into a drone. It's work. I'll work right up until 8:39. Between 8 and 9. Depending on my energy. And I'm on day 3, so it's hard to say. I kind of want to get up into the back. Just do a bit more there and not worry about next door, right? I need to get a handle on my shit. But that shit over there creeping into my shit really disturbs me. Or when the flowers turn to seeds and the winds come and then everything just blows around and scatters more seeds. What's worse, roots or seeds? A morning glory seed can live for like 2 freaking years without being germinated. Kind of like a bed bug. Do you know a bed bug can go 1.5 years without eating? And as soon as a human shows up, it crawls out of its hole and it starts feeding on you after it's been sleeping for 1.5 years. It's true. So anyway, I tell Andre, gotta have more than one business, right? Like a Jimmy Patterson with his 9 different briefcases. So when I get more of a handle on this, you know, I'll take him out in the community and we'll try and get a couple of little jobs here and there just to get him on that track, so he builds confidence within himself, right? So that he is never faced with, oh gee, I don't know what to do, I don't know how to make money, you know, right? He's got to learn how to just kind of like be a juggler when it comes to different types of employment, because he wasn't born with a silver spoon in his mouth. And you know what, unfortunately, he's really been shortchanged a lot in life. You know, he lost his dad, he lost his mom, right? You know, he lost the other half of his family when it relates to me, right? You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I do realize we all born into this world alone and we all leave this world alone. But at the end of the day, you know, the wealth that's being dispersed amongst this province is just, it's not for the benefit of the Canadian people, that's for sure. I don't want to rant on that. So I'll get out in the back. I'll show you those beautiful trees. Try and get positive here. And I'll pitter back there for a bit. I'm not bringing out the skill saw. I'll take a break after today. And then hopefully, it's supposed to start raining. As if I need that, right? But if it doesn't start raining in a couple, 2-3 days, I'll bring out the skill saw. But for now, I think I should just continue working with plants. I think I should get a few more plants in the ground out here. Well, there's a couple of things I wanted to do. Anyway, I'll be back. Hold on. Okay, so, I don't know. I thought I planted some bush beans. Oh, then maybe it's those ones down there. I hope I didn't put bush beans over by where I was just working. But can you see, these ones are pole beans. Can you see they need to go into the ground? This is a squash that my landlady likes. And then I put a few little beet leaves in there. Anyway, beet seeds. This is a spinach. These guys need a bit of water. Those are my tomatoes. They're not very big yet. Anyway, this is the X-Club / greenhouse / painting room. I haven't had any time to really get up in here. Remember I told you I wanted to gut it out and set up the drums for a little AMA and Andre and his little friend, Jude. So maybe what I'll do is maybe I'll start pulling out some of these trees. Right, I'm only one person. I can only do so much. Because I'm going to take you over here. I'm going to walk you through this. Look at this. Look at the warrior tree. Do you see this warrior tree? I did manage to plant there. I don't know if the slugs got into it. It looks like maybe there's some things missing. I don't know. I'll have to go take a look. We'll go down there and look. I was working. Do you see? I haven't hammered it together yet, though, but this is where I need to put the beans this year because they're ready. They need to get into the ground. Look at those ones. Some of these trees are getting big, people. Do you see those down there? They need to get into the ground, too. Right? I talked to my landlady about those windows. She needed 4 windows the same size, because she doesn't really have anyone to help her build a greenhouse. So she's a little nervous about it. So anyway, I'm going to see if I can take Mr. Lace's hen house and turn it more into a greenhouse before I sweep out with the windows, right? And I've already asked my son if he can help me carry some of these windows to the back. So this Mr. Lace's hen house may turn out to be another type of greenhouse. And of course, between the 2 different greenhouses, you've got 2 different light spectrums that you can do different things with over a period of time. Right? Look at this horse chestnut. It's getting big, people. Look at this one. This is a horse chestnut. Eh? You remember those good old days with Andre? He'd have me going out gathering up tons and tons and tons, 1,000, 2,000 horse chestnuts. and I had them dehydrating in my kitchen and living room. Anyway, we'll be back. Okay. So, do you see? Look at it. Just brought it out. A lovely little baby. That's a horse chestnut, people. See, I planted these a while ago, and it's been so... these should be double in size, and they're not. Right? This has been cold. You see? I'm going to put this, make this, I'm going to convert this now into a little mini greenhouse, I think. Right? For different types of plants. I'm going to work back here, people. I have to get these plants in the ground. Which means I'll probably have to bring out the skill saw, and because I can't really do much until I secure this. Right? I'll get in here, it's ready. As long as these ones, get these guys in the ground. It's been raining, but this is dry. You can see their leaves are turning yellow, so they need to go in the ground. So those beans in the green, those will go there, some of them, and the beans will go in there. You can see I've cleared out in here. I planted something, right? I don't know what it is. Some kind of squash, we'll see. I think it's the kind that my landlady likes. I tried to give it more light this year. Where last year I had it, it didn't really grow very well. And then in here, we have little cucumber plants that aren't doing shit. They're about the same size since I put them in here, and they've been in here for a week. So what does that tell you, people? It tells you it's been pretty dismal. You can see, right? They're just now starting to take root, and hopefully they'll take off. This should be cucumber that climbs. So I put this here, you can see, right? And then I'm going to work on trying to build it up a little bit. There's my comfrey. I have a potato in here. So anyway, this is my comfrey, right? Like I said, I have comfrey, I have comfrey in more than one spot in the yard, just because it's nice to have. And then you can see what I've done here. I feel like I'm in a little mini forest, people. You come stand right here, and you feel like you're in a little mini forest, right? These are all pretty much trees. We've got holly that are growing really nice. This is the apple that I started with Andre with apple seeds. You can see this is what I started, 3-4 years ago. So we have a couple of apple trees, right? Those are all apple. I'm pretty sure that's what that is. Then we've got holly. Then we've got weeping willow. Obviously white oak, right? This is a walnut. Probably a black walnut, right? This one's a black walnut. Alright. Gotta watch. You get confused with the leaves. Right? I have 3 different types of walnuts. I have black walnut, English walnut, small, and then English walnut, large. So, anyway, you see how bushy it's starting to be? It's nice. And then we've got our warrior tree that's grown like 3 feet since the last time I was out here. Right? And here we've got some nice hollies that I started a few years back with Andre, and they've been doing really, really well. Healthy, obviously. White oak, right? This is an English walnut of some kind. That little white oak, isn't that pretty? And then this one I just transplanted with my son. It buried itself in the ground. I should give it some water. And we took it out of the pot and put it back in there. Whether it survives or not, it's hard to say. This one I just brought in from the greenhouse. This is an English walnut that's fairly large, with a large nut, I'm pretty sure. Right? White oak. Black walnut. Black walnut. That's, what is that called? lemongrass, make tea. And then in here, see that? Those are little red grape seeds. Now, apparently seeds don't necessarily give back what they were when they went into the ground, but those ones were grown from red grapes. So I'm just going to let them grow and see what happens. But the thing is about grapes is they don't start producing grapes until many, many, many years later. Look at this. So I think I'm going to work back here, people. Okay? Okay, people. I'm outside now. Can you tell? Doesn't that look familiar? Remember, I don't know if you've seen it, but there's a video when they cut down those beautiful, beautiful producing walnut trees down over there. And, you know, it was all dragged into a pile, and before they took it off for mulching, Andre and I, we went in there and rescued whatever we could so that we could have this, people. So that the species wouldn't die out, right? In the name of progress. And the Canadian people were confined to getting their walnuts from China and places like that versus having your own growing in your own country, right? I mean, like, I know nobody's thinking like that, but anyway, I think this is pretty cool. My neighbors, they've been partying over here, eh? I guess somebody got married or something like that, and maybe they graduated or something, but they're young people that don't have kids. Well, they're not really young, but they're from someplace, I don't know, some country, but they're like a married couple that have a very sociable life in terms of with their friends and family. They've been celebrating something. Anyway, I don't know what they think about me, but they don't really bother me, and I don't bother them. So I'm just getting ready to move around. I'm going to start in this corner in here. I keep putting these fence boards back and they keep falling out, so today I got some chicken wire over here that I'm going to drag to the fence, and I'm going to start stapling on the chicken wire so I can staple on the boards, and then once the boards are on and with the chicken wire, then I'll run 2x4s just to reinforce everything. Right? I think that, for me, I think that's the easiest method in terms of trying to stabilize these fences. After this, I gotta go. I'm just pretending I'm a kid right now with the trees, running through the trees. Like, this is an amazing feeling. You can't imagine what the feeling is, right? Because I've got a whole bunch right here. I look over there, there's some, like I'm in the middle of a whole bunch, right? So what we're going to do, since I'm in this corner, get up into the greenhouse. I have to take some of these out of the greenhouse because they're drying up too fast and some of their leaves are dying, right? So I'm going to bring out the bigger plants that are sucking up and need water, right? Bring them out. I have to clean out that greenhouse anyway. But I'm going to get up and behind here. I wanted to build up a garden bed here. And then all these little trees, they're growing up in the X Club. I'm going to move these buckets back here. I'll lay down a board so they can't bust into the ground, right? Because if they bust into the ground, no, it'll be gone like no tomorrow in terms of growing, right? And then have Andre carry some of them, not all of them, but the smaller pots, anyway, to the back here so I can start clearing out the X Club for the kids. and turn it back into an X Club. I told Andre I'll bring out the microscopes because he's older now, right? I'll bring out the microscopes. We'll get a little fish tank in there, maybe get a couple of guppies or something, or a goldfish, you know, and make it so that they can play the drums when they want. And I might even end up putting one wall with a window in there. I want to. I just don't know how I'm going to frame it in. I might have to go get a framer to do it for me. And then just put one window versus tarp, and it will brighten up that whole room, right? It will be really nice. I mean, it's always going to be the leaky X Club, more than likely, but, you know, in that situation, something is better than nothing. And since I'm working with the grape, I was thinking about this last night, right? With the grapes, and I'm running, you know, you can see what I'm doing. I have a lot of wood in here that could be used to interchange, right? To make that trellis so that it can go over it, right? Or maybe I need to build up in here. Like I'm trying to build trellises with just what I have. Anyway, I'm up in this corner for today. A little bit over there. If I don't make it to the other side, people, I don't make it. Right? Because it's a big yard. I can only do so much at one time. I have to get these plants in the ground. I have a few places still yet to plant back here. I'm just hoping that we'll have a late summer. That's what I'm hoping for. If we have a late summer, we'll be okay. We'll come out with something. But if it's going to be a short summer and it's going to be cold all winter, all summer long, you're not going to get as much. But this is better than Buttercup, Morning Glory, all intertwined with a bunch of weeds. What you seen yesterday? This very spot that I'm sitting on right now, this whole fucking area looked like that, people. It's been a grueling, grueling 10 years, trust me. I actually have grass that grows in here now. It just needs to be cut. Whereas it used to be all that Buttercup with Morning Glory roots going through the freaking ground, like they'd grow like 4 to 6 inches a night. I'd get up in the morning and I could see that my ground had moved from the roots from the Morning Glory traveling through this yard. Yeah. And then after the yard's all cleaned up, pretty much, right? You know, things are in place where they're supposed to be. Then I'll put I'll put walnut trees online for sale. You know, Andre's walnut art. And we'll see if we can find a couple of homes for some of them. People can come and pick and choose the one they want. Oh, I like this one. This one's a beautiful tree. This one, oh, this one's nice too. I really like this one. That one's even nicer. So, right? Because I still have little ones coming up. I gotta make room for the little ones. These big ones, they're growing like mad. Okay, so I'm going to walk you over here and I'm going to show you where I'm going to start with my staple gun first. I think I'm going to have to bring out the skill saw today and just do a few repairs as I plant. Hold on. See? Look at this. So nice. Look at this. Look at this. So nice. There's another horse chestnut. This one really sprung out for whatever reason. I don't know why, but it did. You can see how tall it is. Alright, look at this one. Now mind you, that's double potted because I just pulled it out from over there. It looks like it's still a little bit in shock. They don't like this. Like this. But I told my son, yeah, maybe he'll take me to Home Depot and I'll just buy a couple of bigger plots, which I should probably do this week because this one's, you can see it's not as happy as it could be. This one's just as grand as can be. Look how huge that is. It's huge. And then, of course, you know, I moved a whole bunch, right? But here they can bust into the ground. And then once they bust, then they sprout. There's all that wood I told you, so I'll be pulling out that to start using it to run whatever over there. I'm still wondering whether Matilda has got her babies in here, but I need this stuff to provide me some mulch. You can see I did a little bit here. See the screen? Yeah, I'm hearing something over there. I don't know. I'm going to pull out this screen, which used to be in here, to keep the raccoons out. I had to keep the raccoons out, right? But anyway, I'm going to pull this out. And, or maybe I'll use this one. Doesn't matter. I'll start with this one. It's right here already. And, like, I've already put those boards back 3 times, but I haven't secured them with wood yet. So this time I'm going to just staple with the screen, and then that will hold the boards in place until I can run some 2x4s just to secure it. You can see. And guess what I found? Look at that. What do you think that is? That's a walnut tree. Don't ask me how it got there, but it did. And there's Fertile Myrtle busting through the fence already. So I have to start. Yeah, I don't know. I'm weak today, people. I'm weak. There's another comfrey. So I have to go with the path of least resistance today. I don't know if Fertile Myrtle is in here. Anytime I come in here, I walk lightly. Anyway, that's what I'm starting with. Oh my God. This is just a heat magnet. I don't know what kind of plant this is. I just pulled it up. Like, look how bloody tall it got. It's like 3 feet tall, 4 feet tall. I mean, what the hell? Do you see this? Good morning, Glory. Look at this. This is a fucking heat score. There's that plant again. What is it? What kind of plant is this? Oh my God. It's hard work pulling this shit out, people. Like, fuck, man. Like, people need to understand. I'm not trying to bitch. Alright? It's not like I don't do this shit every year, 2-3 times a year. Alright? Looks like a raspberry busted through. Raspberry's nice. Blackberry, it's okay, but so anyway, I'm gonna have to get up in here too. So I'll start working on this before you know, it's that whip on my back again, right? Okay. These are raspberry, right? For mine, 1, 2, 3. There's one right there, and there's one right there. So anyway, I'm going to let them grow. I cleaned up it's all that histamine, people. Do you see? See what I've done? I'll just pull that out. See? As best as I could. I don't have time to work on it too much now. I am going to be using that vinyl siding for this compost box. So over the next little while, I'll start working on emptying out this one. This one I already emptied out last year, and boy oh boy, the humus that came out of this was so nice. So now, at some point in my travels, get up in here, start throwing everything in there, get to the bottom, get that humus, right? I should really do it soon, even before I fix the fence, and then just carry it that way. And then once it's done, then I'm going to repair it, and I'm going to run this vinyl around it. And I am actually thinking, honestly, people, I don't know if it's going to work, but I have so much of it, I'm wondering if I can just run it along the fence on the outside, right? I could do 1, 2, 3, do this, 4, right? 5, 6, 7, 8. I probably have enough to cover all of that and that. I could cover that, and quite possibly even that one wall. And then between the slats, the screen, and the vinyl, as long as the beams are solid, nothing's going nowhere. Like, these beams are solid, okay? And the boys, they fixed this for me, what, last year? And they did a really good job. So I can work around that. And so I might keep this just open for a while as I work on clearing this out, because I want to, you know, get on with things. So in the meantime, this is good enough for now. I'll leave this dry for a couple of days. And then, of course, I took out as much morning glory as I could out of there for now. I'll work on it. You can see I have to come out here with a knife, right? Started pulling out there. Because this produces really nice blackberries. And the kids, they really enjoy it. The raspberries, I'm leaving it for the old people. After they move in, I'm sure somebody will be walking down here and, you know, an old person, right, walking by, and what is that? Is that a raspberry plant? Ooh, raspberries. Anyway. Okay, so now I'm inside the greenhouse, very, very hot. This is where I got to bring in these tomato plants. So I'm going to work on transplanting them, because I'm superhuman, right? Over the next week or so, right? I've already got some buckets ready. Gonna have to fill up a few more. Anyway, I'm taking these babies out because it's too hot in here. They need more water because they're, you can see what's happening here. Right, they're getting too big. So I'm gonna bring these out, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna clear out that spot in there. I'm gonna lay down a board, and then I'm just gonna kind of pile them up in that corner for now and work around it. And then, like, some of them need to be transplanted. This is for tomatoes, so as I'm transplanting tomatoes, I can actually just put them straight up in the ground now, start working on that, because tomatoes will grow a long time in here. It's warm. It's really warm in here. Hold on a minute. I'm with the spit bugs today, people. Whew. That was all spit bugs. Yeah. Oh. Something just flew by me. Something just flew by me. Here, my coffee is still here. I had a detour. Do you see how easy it is to get detoured in this yard? So basically, after this, I'm going to just try and focus on what I need to focus on. I had to do that because, one, you know, it's a heat score. 2, I like fertile myrtle. I really do. That's been a very faithful blackberry bush. You know, it produces a lot of beautiful berries. The kids like it. This year, maybe I'll even, and as this development's going on, all the blackberry bushes are being wiped out around here. So, you know, that bush is nostalgic. From the very beginning, when this whole yard was nothing but morning glory, buttercup, and all that crap, right? Fertile myrtle was always poking herself over the fence. So I'll keep an eye on her and try and control the morning glory, and so it doesn't smother, right? Keep it trimmed down. When we're mowing back here, I'll go back there and mow. And I already told you what I'm going to do with this vinyl siding. Like, I've been thinking about it, right? And I think I'm just going to run it on the outside. Do those composts. Do a little bit there. See what's left after this corner on the outside. Because boy, oh boy, if it works, it's going to look so fucking nice. And that vinyl siding lasts for like 25 years. And that vinyl siding was practically new on that house before they tore it down. They only put the vinyl siding on so that they could ask for more money to sell the house, but the person who bought it wasn't interested in keeping the house. They just wanted the land, right? You know that. But this vinyl siding might just do the trick to preserve this fence, because you have to remember, this fence is 10 years old, people. This kind of wood for 10 years, pretty damn good in terms of cost saving for what we've been doing. If that vinyl siding extends the life of the fence for the life of the house, whether that's 5, 10, 15, 20 years, whoever knows how long that may be, well, then you're laughing, right? Yeah. So we'll see. Let's see what happens. So I'm going to finish my smoke. And I have to get these plants in the ground. So that's one we'll focus on for the next 3 hours. Try and get a few more plants in the ground. And I have to move plants, move trees. Move trees. Right. I lost my glasses. You have to take the good with the bad. This is the good. This is the reward. Oh. No trucks today. Just something else, you can hear it. None of this fucking huge ass dump trucks front and back. Like, my house is getting so dusty, man. It's pathetic. Oh. Lost for words here. I'm tired already. Well, I've been working hard out here, people. Right? I mean, everything's lifting, intensive labor, pulling, kicking, shoveling, carrying, banging. You know, I have to bring out the skill saw. There's some things I need to do that I can't really move forward until I do them. Oh, anyway, I'll be back. Whew. Okay, I'm trying hard to not get mad here, people. Serious, man. I'm working on this fence. I ended up grabbing that, what is it called? That old wire, chicken screen or whatever the hell it's called. And I dragged it over there. And I'm trying to piece these boards in, but they're, you know, like I said, 10 years old, people. They keep popping fucking out. And I'm like, you know, people are so fucking rude, man. You know, as if I'm asking people to feel sorry for me, right? It has nothing to do with feeling sorry in regards to what happened to ShaMay, unless, of course, you trivialize death and murder. I mean, if you trivialize murder, then yeah, I could understand why you would say something stupid like that. If you trivialize medical kidnapping and destroying of the elderly, you know, and their lives and the stealing of their money, if you condone that and you want to trivialize that, then, you know, that tells you something about your character, right? As to what type of person you are. I'm trying not to feel sorry for myself doing the shit that I'm doing right now. Okay? Ever since I moved into this fucking house, I've been trying not to fucking feel sorry for myself, but the thing is, I'm trapped. Right? With all this big booming building and all this shit. You know, I'm in that manufactured poverty fucking pile of shit. Right? That, it's just something to exploit one way or another. And I try not to feel sorry for myself around that shit, right? So, I'm going to show you how I'm struggling over here, trying not to feel sorry for myself. What do you say? Just hang in there. You'll get it stapled on. What you're doing is a good idea. It will work. And once it's on, you know, and then if you come along on the other side and run that vinyl in the next month or two, all the way around, you never fall down. As long as the main beams are good, you're good to go. But I can't run no vinyl until I get these boards situated properly. Right? So I don't know. I just wanted to say that. I'm going to bring the camera over there as I'm doing this and let you watch. And no, not because I'm looking for people to feel sorry for me. Just because it's fucking messed up. You see? I already dragged it there, right? But I don't know. This camera might. It might, because it's just teetering on something. Do you see where I am? No, tell myself, no, don't feel sorry for yourself. It could be worse. You could be sitting someplace with empty fucking cupboards. Or almost empty. With a crashing economy for millions. So, you gotta think strategy. This is what this is. So as long as we get started, in this corner, I don't know how to fix this fence, people. This is the only way. I get tired of doing this, just like I get tired of doing the freaking porch. But I don't have too many fucking options. I really don't. Not right now, at least. You know, my life, I don't know. See, this is where you need two people. Because now, I have to shimmy through. Well, first I'm going to staple it. I don't know if I should be stapling it from the top or from the bottom, because this only goes 2/3 of the way. So, I mean, for now, probably be easier just to run it from the bottom, and then I don't know, it's hard to get in there. That's the thing. And I don't got too much time to be fooling around, and I'm only using miscellaneous junk. Right? That one man's junk is another man's treasure. In this instance, it's a treasure. It's just I don't have anyone on the other fucking side to help me lift up this treasure. I just want to get, so what we do, see how I breathe? So we're going to take it. Oh my God. This, see, don't get mad. Tell myself, don't get mad. So what we're going to do is we're just going to attack it for now. Oh my God. Oh, I'm not even strong enough. Whew. So much for that. That didn't work. Oh my God. I warned you. I'm gonna turn off this camera in a minute. I just wanted you to see what I'm doing. And then after, you'll see the end. Okay, people. The point of this is not to get mad. Right? That's the whole point. Okay, this might end up being a, what is it called? Oh, video. Trying not to get mad here, people. Right? Knowing that what the city just recently did in April, right, was just nothing to humiliate me. That's all it was for, people. It was to fucking humiliate me, to put it in their file that I'm a problem fucking tenant, or whatever it is, fucking human being on this planet in the city of Surrey, British Columbia, Canada. Right? And that, because of that, you know, it warrants being watched in fucking gang stalk for the next time. Because for all their threats to come in here and take this stuff, because I'm only one person and I can only do so much, right? And like, if they would have came in and taken this away, I wouldn't be able to fix the fence. That's the point. I wouldn't be able to fix the fucking fence, people. And then of course I would have been blamed for the fucking fence broken. Right? Because I didn't fucking fix it. And before my landlords would fucking fix it, they would say, they want to sell the house. So, you know, I don't win for losing. Like, my life is a fucking game for people. They sit in their houses. They've already targeted this house a long time ago. An energy weapon going through my fucking yard. For all we know, I could be zapped with it right now. And that's why I have all this ringing in my ears, pressure in my head. Right? My eyes are going bad on me. Anyway, I just gonna try and, I have enough to get to this one little spot here, and then I'm gonna cut it, and then I'm gonna try and piece in these boards. Right? I just wanted to show you that this, yeah, I'm just like trying not to feel sorry for myself. Hell no. And what else you gonna do in life? Right? And I don't mean feel sorry for yourself. I mean stuff like this. Right? If it's just gonna draw negative attention. Okay. See? There's where I am. See? Okay, so I got it stretched out from there to there. I don't have it stapled in yet. I have to piece those boards in and staple as I go and find one more board because I'm missing a board. It's probably got broken. But anyway, hold on. Okay, you can see I fixed that corner. Now I just have to take a piece of plywood and just run it straight down on that. Right. And it's gonna have to do. It is what it is. This pine tree here creates a lot of shade for me. It's getting bigger and bigger every year. So I don't know. Pretty soon this backyard's gonna be in the dark. Okay. Today was kind of a rough day for me. I've been kind of moping as I'm going. But as you can see, I'm working on it. I'm getting ready to cut the grass. I had to cut by knife because it's so high, right? So tomorrow I'll get up in there and get the lawnmower out. I'm trying to do something in here, right? So anyway, it's a squash that I like. I think my landlady likes those ones. We'll find out when they pop up, right? The only thing is this tree is getting bigger and bigger. So sun is getting drowned out. But whatever. It will be what it will be. I don't know if these are pole beans or bush beans. I think these ones are pole beans. And I think those ones are bush beans. And then of course there's our warrior tree. You can see how big it's getting. It's like already almost twice the size of me. Right, it grew like 3 feet. Oh, it would be nice to see the day when it produces a few walnuts. This is a black walnut. Oh, I love the smell of black walnut. Oh, it's such a neat smell, people. So anyway, we'll just see how it goes. Last year I planted squash in here with all kinds of walnut trees, and they grew. So squash don't seem to mind it. I think I even had a couple of cucumbers in here. So we'll see what happens with those little babies over there. Now, if I turn this into a hen house, if I do, this in here would be for the chickens to peck on, right? Because nothing really ever really grows in here because it doesn't get enough light, right? It's just, these trees are a problem. But whatever, I work around it. For whatever reason, I have parsley growing. It just came from somewhere. So I'm just basically kind of working my way out this way, right? And picking through there. And obviously working towards fixing fences. But that doesn't look too bad. It's nice and sturdy. I'll still do more, right? I'll probably end up sanding this down a bit and painting it that color, which on there, that green, to match that, or a forest green. I have to see if I have a forest green. I like forest green. This other paint was just a discount paint, but it goes good between the two, but I have to either buy another can of forest green, or I'm hoping I have one. I just haven't had a chance to look yet. So anyway, I'm going to end it on this video, people. Like I said, I'm kind of depressed. Just sit here and end this video right here. I think my battery's almost dead. Where's the battery? Oh yeah, this battery's going to kick out any second. Any second. This battery's going to kick out any second. So I guess I have to be happy for my trees, right? Huh? So once everything's all cleared out, right, a little more organized, I'm going through all the bins. I don't have to weed as much as I used to, so I don't need as many as I used to have, right? So I'm chucking a little here, a little there. And obviously I'm building, right? There's something I want to do in here. So I don't know how long it's going to take. Don't even know sometimes what the point is. I know. I miss Uncle John. I miss listening to ShaMay. Going up and down the stairs. Talking. Alright. I miss Ciera. Feel bad that she had such a terrible, terrible, terrible life. In such a so-called fucking rich country. A country that has no value for walnut trees, really. But maybe we'll get lucky and at some point find some homes for some of these walnut trees. Because if I don't, I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do with them. But right now, they're pretty happy. So my neighbors are having, like I said, they kind of party a lot, right? And it doesn't bother me. They were trying to build something, but I don't think they were very successful at it. Because I heard them, right? And then I heard so, but they have a nice little garden growing on the other side. But then they get sunlight all day, you know, no trees interfering with where they have their stuff growing. Whereas, like me, I don't know, I gotta do something about this tree. It's just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Look at this tree. And just taking up, and then this other one came in. So, anyway, it's okay. I'm happy with what I have. Right? So what do you think? Pretty good so far? Coming along? Coming along.